Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga. And this month we are focusing on connecting with the powerhouse. So, our core, finding a nice neutral spine, looking for great posture. We've talked about the Mula Bandha, the pelvic floor lock, and the Uddiyana Bandha. So, we're going to be integrating reminders to connect with those abdominal locks and pelvic floor locks as we hold some of our poses today. We are going to flow through Chandra Namaskar, which means the moon salutation. So most of us know Surya Namaskar, which is our sun salutation, and that is intended to be an awakening. As we're going into fall, oftentimes in yoga practices, we revert to a moon salutation, which is soothing and calming. It's still a very vibrant practice. So we'll be doing poses that require a lot of muscle connection and a lot of core connection. So I have a block and a strap just in case you need those for props today. And I'd like for you to stand in mountain pose, kind of at the center of your mat. This salutation moves to the right side and to the left side. It's kind of circular, so we don't start at the top of our mat. We start in the center. Just stand here in mountain pose, draw your shoulder blades back, let your palms present forward, and this gives you a connection in the powerhouse right between your shoulder blades so that we're not standing slumped, we're standing lifted. And we'll take a nice inhale, let the arms sweep out and up until your palms press above your head. Exhale and side stretch over to your right. This is our half moon stretch. We'll inhale back up. Exhale and let those arms float by your sides. And this time to the left, breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. We'll do this twice more to each side. And as you lift the arms, just check in to see how your shoulders are feeling today. As you side stretch, check in with your lower back and your hips. And focus on your breathing. Taking a nice expansive breath in. Then exhaling all the air out into that pose. Your feet can be hips distance apart, or you can connect them closer together, more of a classical position for our yoga practice. Requires a little bit more balance. So if you need to, separate your feet so you have a little bit wider base of support for your body. Last time, moving to the left. Back to your mountain pose. We'll inhale to lift the arms halfway up with the palms raising toward the sky. Exhale and rotate your body to the right, looking over your right shoulder. And try to keep your hip bones facing straight ahead. Then inhale back to the midline. Exhale, and as your arms come down, try to touch your hands behind your back. Just touch your fingers together. Inhale, open, palms up. Exhale, rotate left. Keep your hips forward. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, touch the hands behind your back. 2 more times each direction. Grounding into the earth. Feeling that connection of your feet into the earth, which is known as the Pada Bandha or the foot lock. One more each side. Think about lengthening your spine a little taller as you twist. Giving your spine more space for that rotation. Feeling taller and lifted. And come back to your mountain pose. Find your balance on your right foot. Pick up your left knee and see if you can just hug it right up into your chest. If you need a wall for balance, you can place one hand out to support. And we're going to point and flex the ankle. Set that foot back down. Stabilize into your left foot. Pick up your right knee, so you have a little stretch for your hip. Flex and point the ankle. And set it down. How's your balance today? Let's switch again. Pick up that knee. This time we'll open the knee a little bit out to the side and back to the front. Just find some mobility in your hip. And bring it down. Focus on really bracing through your core to help you with your balance here. Touching down if you need to. And down. Switch your balance one more time to the right foot. Lift your left leg behind you slightly and bend your knee and straighten. So you're connecting with your hamstring. Arms can be wherever you'd like. We have a little bit of a squeeze through this back leg glute. Abdominals zipped up. And release it down to switch. Stabilize into your left leg. Lift your right leg slightly behind you. Bend your knee and straighten. Reconnect with the core, the powerhouse, by engaging these muscles right across the abdominal area. And then release back to your mountain pose. Find a nice long spine. And we'll prepare to move through our Chandra Namaskar, moon salutation. We'll go very slowly the first time and really discuss each pose. And then we'll begin to move quicker through that flow. Make sure you're going at your own pace. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up till the palms touch above the head. Exhale into that half moon side bend to the right side. Inhale back up. Exhale the arms to goalpost position with your elbows slightly below the shoulders. Spread your fingers wide and then step your feet apart, wider than hips distance, with a slight turn out of both toes. Sit into goddess pose. Now find the activation of your abdominals here. Slightly tuck your tailbone under so you don't have a big arch in your back. Make sure your knees are tracking right over the center of the feet, that direction. We'll hold here a couple more breaths. And you choose how low you'd like to go into your goddess and how wide your legs are. All of that is variations that are up to your body. From our goddess pose, press up out of the legs. Lower your arms down by your side. Pivot your left foot in a little bit by kicking your heel out. Turn your right foot toward the top of the mat. Lengthen your arms and prepare for triangle. We'll reach through the fingertips here. Lengthen long. And then the right hand comes down toward the shin. The left arm reaches up. And again, for your body, you decide how wide your stance is, how low your chest drops down for that Triconasana. Just making sure your shoulders are stacked and your hand can also come to your hip here. Keep rolling this top shoulder back. Brace the powerhouse. All of this is holding your torso up. One more breath. Then as you exhale, this top arm starts to rotate down into pyramid. So both fingertips are at your shin. You can use any props here, a chair to place your hands on. You can place your fingertips on a block. And let's explore the flexibility in that front leg by coming down into pyramid. Holding and breathing. A little micro bend in your front knee so that knee isn't locked into the joint. Let's take one more breath here in pyramid pose. And then bend that front knee as much as you need so you can reach your fingers down to the floor and drop down to the back knee. Our next pose is Low Lunge, Anjanai Asana. Reach up through the fingertips and hold our low lunge. Our focus here is the front of the back leg hips. So we want to drop those hips down and stretch open the hip flexor. Your arm position can be anything that you like today. Anything that feels good for your shoulders. And breathe. Inhale and exhale through the nose. And maybe that ujjayi breath, that soft whisper breath. From here, reach down to the mat. Begin to straighten your front leg, shifting back into a hamstring stretch, a Hanumanasana Prep. And again, you can use your props here, blocks, a chair. You can be way up if your hamstring feels super tight today. And we stretch again over that front leg for hamstring release. You'll feel that deeper stretch if you pull your toes up toward you, but you can point your foot as well. That'll relax your calf somewhat to make way for that stretch. One more breath in this pose. Then start to walk your fingers toward the middle of your mat. So you're turning your body, extending that leg out nice and long into an inner thigh stretch. Now, sometimes this particular pose is taught up on this foot. I'm doing it from the knee today, but if you like to do, you can come up onto the foot and do the lunge here. It just is a little too much for me to demonstrate that with my knee arthritis, but that's up to you if you want to come up onto your foot and do that deep knee bend. Now with this pose, you can stay upright or take your fingers out nice and long like you're doing a down dog and drop your chest and your forehead down to the earth. One more breath here. So here's where we transition to the other side as we flow in reverse for our poses. So this right leg, the knee will come in. The left leg extends out to the side to repeat this pose on the other side. And again, you can come up to the foot if you choose. You can use your block here, staying nice and lifted. Or you can reach the arms out, taking your downward dog stretch position. And here, the inner thighs lengthening as well as the hamstring. And we still feel the connection with our bandhas. Abdominals drawn in and braced. One more breath. Then walk the hands in. We transition to the next pose by turning the body toward this front leg, which would be your left, as I'm teaching mirroring toward you. So we hold our hamstring stretch here on this side. Noticing any differences between the right and left side of your body. And this is our first time through this Chandra Namaskar moon salutation. So maybe you're not going as deep, and we can deepen as we repeat the sequence. From here, we start to bend this front knee to shift into low lunge, reaching up through the fingertips or supporting here on your thigh. Or using your blocks, and really lift your chest and open up this hip flexor. Draw your shoulder blades back. Sink down a little deeper if you feel comfortable there. 2 more breaths. Now transitioning to pyramid. Fingertips come down to the floor. You can use your block. Tuck your back toes under. Lift up and plant this foot about a 45-degree angle and fold over that leg. Or you can be up a little higher. Hands can be at your hips. Make this pose yours. And try to focus on increasing the length of your spine from your tailbone out through the head. So you're not curved and hunched just to get lower with your head in the pose. There's nothing special about coming all the way down over the leg, just where your body feels comfortable. 1 more breath here in pyramid. From pyramid, we come up and move into triangle. So if you need to adjust your stance at all, maybe widen it, or maybe adjust this back foot, reach out, stretch and lengthen, and find your Triconasana on this side. And I'm feeling this top rib cage opening. Shoulders and shoulders are stacked. Try not to round forward to reach down. It's a side bend rather than a forward bend. 1 more breath. As you exhale, we'll rise back up. And lower the arms down. Pivot both feet so they're slightly turned out. Sink down into your goddess squat. Spread your fingers. Pull your knees back by activating your glutes. Pull the abs in. Tuck your tailbone slightly underneath. This is a very powerful pose. You can even connect with your muscles in the arms and tighten your biceps. Pull your shoulder blades back. 1 more breath. Rise up. Release your arms by your side. Step your feet back in towards each other, or you can jump your feet together. We'll inhale to sweep the arms out and up. And exhale back down. That is our moon salutation. So when we begin again, we start to the left side and move all the poses around, beginning to the left. So you know a little bit of what to expect and how to adjust your poses and where to go. So let's take a breath in. Till your hands connect above your head. Exhale. Now we're going to the left. So we start with that moon pose, half moon side bend. And inhale back up. Exhale, bring those arms into goalpost or cactus and step or jump your feet apart, a little wider than hips distance, and sink down into goddess pose. So each time you move through this flow, I want you to find maybe one small thing you can make an adjustment in the precision of your pose. 2 more breaths. Press back up with the legs. Extend your arms and pivot your right foot in, your left foot out. So we move into triangle. Reach out long. Fingertip comes maybe to the shin, or you can use your block. So I have mine close by. I like to put the block behind my leg. Because what that does is it helps me not to bend over. If your block is here, you're going to want to bend over from your waist to find it. So if it's behind you, it gives you a better chance of stacking everything and opening up through the chest. One more breath in triangle. Then this top arm will start to rotate down as we transition into pyramid. You can adjust this back foot a little bit by turning your foot more forward, more parallel, and fold over that front leg. So I use my block again here as a prop on this side. What's important here is that we keep our pelvis level here and that our legs don't scissor so much that our pelvis shifts. So you might need to draw back your front leg just a little bit to get your pelvis in neutral. Create a nice long spine, one more breath. And I'm feeling this more so in my back calf. I think I've really made that foot more parallel, so I'm feeling that calf stretch. Now we reach down to the mat by bending your front knee as much as you need to and drop your back knee down to the floor for our Anjanai Asana Low Lunge position. And if you'd like to take any different arms, you can choose goalposts, you can bring your hands at your hips, arms behind your back. All of that is just the way you'd like to accessorize these poses today. One more breath. Then we reach the fingertips down, shift the hips back to straighten the front leg into our kneeling Hanumanasana Prep. Maybe you're using your block here. And we'll find more flexibility, more stretch in our hamstring if we keep our pelvis tipped back rather than letting our pelvis tuck under. That's going to shorten the attachment of your hamstring. So try to press your sitting bones back behind you. One more breath. And then we walk the hands toward the middle to pivot this into our side lunge stretch. And you can also come up onto your right foot as an option. So if you're feeling a little bit more flexible, you can slide your leg out a little further to increase the stretch in the inner thigh. I'll use my block on this one, holding yourself up if needed. At any height of your block, you have 3 heights to work with. Or reaching your fingertips out into that down dog. You can even use your block to support your forehead. 2 more breaths. And pressing yourself up. Here's where we transition to start on the other leg. So this extended leg comes in to place the knee on the mat. The other leg extends out. We repeat the same stretch. Find the length of the leg. And your foot can be on any angle that feels comfortable on this side. So you don't have to turn your foot completely parallel to the side edge of your mat. Sometimes that's too much strain on the talofibular joint in your ankle. So find a good comfortable position for your foot. And then stretch here on this side. Relax and breathe. Now, these can be very challenging poses, and I don't want you to feel like you're fighting them all the time. So use all those props that you need to make your body feel comfortable in these stretches, to find your own edge. No competition, no judgment of your body. And then press yourself up. You'll pivot to that right side for your hamstring stretch over that right leg. And I had to slide my leg way back to get my pelvis to come to neutral. So take your time on each transition. Take time to set up. I know sometimes we want to flow, of course, very gracefully from one pose to the other, but you might just need to really take your time to even come all the way up, adjust your hips, adjust your props, do what you need to get into the next pose. There's no rush to get there. Then once you arrive, see what you can do to tweak the precision of your pose. And we're not looking for perfection, but we're looking for precision in our own body. And that is a journey that we flow through our yoga practice on a daily basis. So from here, we transition to our low lunge. So the front knee bends. You might have to slide this back knee back a little further as you come up into Anjanai Asana. Any position of your arms. Square your hips and shoulders. This might feel like a little bit of a back bend, and you can add that in if it feels good in your practice to really open up the front body and extend through the spine. 2 more breaths. And here's where we transition to come back onto our feet. So you can bring hands down to use your hands on the mat, tuck the back toes under, and we shift this into pyramid. And again, if you need to stand all the way up, go ahead and do. Stand up, get yourself adjusted, get your props ready, and then fold all the way down. The hamstrings may be feeling more lengthened now. The body feeling more comfortable with these poses and with the modifications that you are choosing for yourself today. Let's take one more breath. And then bring yourself up. We'll adjust into triangle. So this back foot needs to pivot just a little bit. And maybe you lengthen through your stride. Reach the fingertips long, side stretch a little over so that we're finding this length through the torso, and then see where your fingertips land on this side. Perhaps using your block behind the ankle. And this top arm can definitely be relaxed down. Roll this shoulder back. The gaze can go up to the top hand, or you can look down toward the bottom, toward that right foot. Or directly forward neutral. 2 breaths here. Then soften your front knee to pull yourself all the way back up. Lower your arms for a moment and then adjust your stride for goddess. I'm turning both toes out slightly, bringing the arms to goalpost, and then sinking down into the legs. Spread your fingers wide. Make sure your toes aren't turned out so far that your knees will go in. So if your knees are dropping in, you don't have that alignment, pull your feet in a little bit more so you can get them to track along the same plane. Make sure you're not leaning forward here, so pull the back body upward. Tuck the tailbone slightly. Firm up through the transverse abdominis and our Uddiyana Bandha. Take one more breath in, goddess. Then press up out of the legs, lower the arms, and you can step or jump your feet together. Coming back to mountain with a breath to finish our cycle. That is one round on each side of moon salutation. So let's get each side one more time, just fine-tuning our poses. We'll hold them a little bit shorter this time. We'll breathe in, bring the palms to touch above the head, half moon side bend. Breathe in, lower your arms, goalpost. Maybe try a little jump. Drop into goddess. Ooh, I didn't know if I was going to try that today. It went okay, but we don't have to jump. That's just an option. And then rise back up. Lower the arms. Pivot this left foot in by turning your heel out. Pivot the right foot forward. Reach out long. Triangle pose. Now fire your inner thighs. That helps you to fire your Mula Bandha, the pelvic floor lock. So it's like you're squeezing your mat together this way, pulling back with the front leg and slightly forward with the back leg. And then this top arm lowers down as we pivot into pyramid. You might need to adjust your back foot. I like to turn it a little so I have more of a parallel position. Gives me a better stretch through my back calf. And lower down into pyramid any amount. Being patient with your body here. We're in a different place each time we come to the mat. Transition into low lunge. So the back knee comes down to the mat and it's way behind your hip. Rising up in reach. Fingertips find the mat or your block. Straighten out the front leg, shifting your hips back into your Hanumanasana or front split prep. Lengthen the spine. That front knee can be bent any amount you need to make this pose successful for you. Then pivot your hands toward the middle into our side lunge. Kneeling side lunge. Slide that leg out any amount. Come down into your fullness in this pose. Inner thigh, adductor release, hamstring release. But we still feel that connection with our core, with the powerhouse. And then we adjust to the same pose on the other side by sliding that right knee into the mat. And the left leg extends outside. The foot is in a comfortable position. And lower down any amount. One more breath. And then we pivot to face the extended leg for our Hanumanasana stretch on this side. Align your pelvis, align your hips. Use needed props. And all of a sudden, my knee isn't liking being on the hard surface. So I'm going to put my blanket under that knee. Much better, much better. Patanjali said yoga should be easy and comfortable. Well, it isn't always, but if we can make ourselves more comfortable, it might seem a little bit easier. Then adjust into your kneeling lunge so this front knee bends. You drop down into the hip. Maybe reach up through the fingertips, perhaps a little bit of a back bend here. One more breath. Then we transition to pyramid by stepping up onto the back foot, flattening that heel down to the floor. Remember, you can come all the way up to stand and start your pose from the top rather than move it up through the bottom. This is a closed hip pose, as is our kneeling lunge, so we want to have our hips as squared as possible. Our body moving on the sagittal plane. Then we adjust into triangle, and you can stand all the way up, or you can also transition right from here. Two more breaths. Soften the knee to rise up with your body. Lower your arms. Pivot both feet to have some turnout. Bring those arms to goalpost and sink into goddess. Rise back up and either step or jump your feet together. Might try that and see how it works today. Whew. Back to our mountain pose. We finish with the breath. Inhale and exhale down. Wow, we're 75% through. We only have one more trip around the moon, starting on the left side. Inhale, sweep up. Touch the palms. Exhale your half moon to the left. Inhale up. Exhale, lower your arms down to goalpost and step or jump your feet apart. Toes turned out slightly, bend your knees, come down into goddess. Find a little bit more precision in your body where you are today in this pose. Rise back up. Reach the arms long, pivot the feet. Triangle, Triconasana. So I'm moving a little quicker this time, less to explain about each pose, but take your time if you need more time in each position. Especially if you're doing this on YouTube later, you can even pause the video and work on each pose before you move. Transition into pyramid, drop that arm down, maybe adjust your back foot, use the props that you need, and stretch over that front leg. Drop your back knee down to the mat. Low lunge. Fingertips find the mat. Straighten the front leg, Hanumanasana Prep. Walk your hands toward the middle of the mat, pivoting your body into our side lunge stretch. Switch sides to start moving our moon salutation to the other direction. Walk your hands over that extended leg to pivot into Hanumanasana Prep. Shift forward into low lunge. Drop your hip down. Any position with your arms. Rise up onto your back foot, finding your pyramid pose. Transition to triangle, either from the bottom or you can come all the way up to this to stand and then starting your pose from standing upright. Pull yourself up. Adjust your feet for goddess, both toes slightly turned out. Bring your arms to goalpost, spread your fingers, and sink down. Strong pose. Press up out of the legs. Walk or jump your feet back together. Finish with an in-breath. And exhale down. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes for a moment, just notice your body. Where is your body at compared to beginning of class? Where is your brain? Where is your breathing? It's probably picked up a little bit from beginning of our practice. And then we'll finish with some relaxing stretches today in a supine position. So make your way onto your back. Have your yoga strap with you if you like to use it for hamstring. Have a pillow for the back of your head if you need that as well. And we'll take that yoga strap underneath the bottom of the right foot and lengthen that leg up, lowering the left foot down to the floor. Now, if this bothers your lower back, you can also bend that opposite leg, putting your foot on the mat, and that helps with your lower back a little bit. It tips your pelvis under, gives you a better chance of also lengthening a tight hamstring. And then using your left hand on the strap, slightly pull your leg a little bit across the midline until you feel your IT band begin to lengthen on the outside of that right hip. And then turn your toes or rotate your foot inward, and you'll feel a stretch along the outside of your shin and calf on that right side. And then bring your leg back through the midline, switch hands on the block, and open your leg out to the outside to stretch through your inner thigh. Your left hand can reach out to counterbalance your body from tipping over to the right side, but use your core as well here. Firm up your abdominal muscles and brace. Keep the breath moving. Then bring the leg back through the midline. Release the yoga strap. We'll come into our figure 4 stretch on that same side. So flex your right ankle, cross it over your left thigh, and pull your knees up toward your chest. This is our reclined pigeon. Stretching those deep external rotators and the glutes. One more breath. And release it down. We'll do all of those stretches on the left side. If you're using that yoga strap, place it under the ball of your left foot so you can flex your ankle as you extend that leg up. Right leg can stay bent, or you can extend it all the way down. That's going to open up your hip flexor a little bit more. Holding that hamstring stretch. Really focus on relaxing the muscles. Try not to tense up or create any binding or gripping anywhere in your body. Then using your right hand, we'll slightly come across the midline of the body to open up the IT band and turn your toe inward on your left foot to create that stretch on the outside of your shin. Make it gentle though, so you're not feeling any pain in your ankle joint. Then swap to the left hand with the strap. Open your leg out to the side any amount. Adductor stretch and the hamstring. And realign that leg right back through the midline. Release your strap. And then we'll flex the left ankle, cross it over the right thigh, creating your figure 4 position, and pull the knees up toward the chest. And I'm reaching through my legs to grab behind my right hamstring, but you can also reach over the top or just hold onto the shin of your left foot, or hold on, or don't hold on at all. Just allow your leg to initiate this stretch. Two more breaths. And then release it down. Bring the soles of your feet to touch, opening the knees into our reclined bound angle pose. Supta Baddha Konasana. Relax your hips. Allow them to open. Release any tightness and tension. Close your knees together. And then decide on a side of your body you'd like to roll onto, and take that arm above your head. Shift your hips over to the side so you can drop your knees and roll into a side lying position. Use the strength of your arms to press yourself up. Seated position, we'll finish with a twist on each side, straightening out the right leg, bringing the left knee in or crossing the ankle of the left foot across the right. Lengthen your spine, rotate to the left, and you can hug this knee in, or you can bring your elbow across. You can press your palms into prayer. Look over your left shoulder. And release the twist. Extend the left leg straight ahead. Bend the right knee in or crisscross. Lengthen your spine. Start to turn to the right side and choose that position of your arms. And come back to center. Find easy pose, which is our simple cross-legged pose position. Lengthen your spine long. Drop your shoulder blades down. And then take your hands into chest expansion. So your elbows are low, but you're pulling them back behind you. Inhale. Exhale, drop your chin to your chest as you close your hands and maybe even your elbows to touch. Inhale, open. Slightly extend through your spine, a little baby back bend. Exhale, close and round your back like a cat stretch. Create space in the back body. And again, inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Hold this here. Really retract your shoulder blades. And then just let the palms find one another at your heart center as we prepare to close our practice. Our Anjali Mudra is a sign or symbol of honor and gratitude. And we are grateful for this opportunity to practice online together as a community. And I am honored to be your teacher. And the light and joy that resides within me honors the light and joy in each of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today, everyone. I'll bring our recording off, and anybody that can chat, I would love to hear from you and see how you did with Chandra Namaskar. Thanks, everybody.